Hello everybody, welcome back to what is going to be a bit of an interesting night, probably to say the least. We are live for the final rounds. Now I say rounds because it's the sprint feature race format tonight from Barcelona de Catalunya. Unfortunately not with the reprofile turn 10 that we saw in Formula 1. We're still using the old style hairpin, which does promote a little bit more in terms of overtaking opportunities. Let me just take a little bit of a screenshot of what the rules are for tonight. Yeah, there we go, got it. So yeah, that's the intro to tonight, basically. So I'm going to just fire up my emails because I made myself like a very crude spreadsheet earlier on today, which in theory will help me just keep live track of where people are sitting. As you will know from the close of last week, we have we have a very close championship battle. So these two, this man and this man, are separated by just 1 point in the championship. Britsberger as well, with his fantastic run of form in the Aston Martin, just a handful of points away as well. So he, with a good result tonight, Britsberger could also take the title mathematically. I'm just going to download this and then I'll get that open. The good news is I've got a PC coming, so I should be able to do all this on screen at some point in the future. Obviously can't do it right now. I've got my laptop off to the sides. I'm just opening my spreadsheet that I made earlier. We have 15 minutes qualifying coming up. Just 10 drivers tonight, so we're missing quite a lot of people. Who we got in? We've got Phil G, we've got Diablo, we've got Britsberger, we've got Quinn, we've got Gwyn, we've got Cutler, we've got Duco, we've got Lucky Bucky, we've got Rob Scott, Sonic Racer, and Sean, who's actually coming out for qualifying tonight. He historically doesn't really do qualifying, although he had a fantastic time out last time. Brands Hatch, great result there for Sean and the McLaren. So yeah, tonight then, let's give you some format. There we go, my spreadsheet's finally open. So who are we missing? Roving Island, I know Roving Island's not here. D-Dot, where's D-Dot? Is he not driving? Is he live? Let's have a look. He's playing Warzone. He ain't racing. Seamus, I'm pretty sure he said he couldn't race tonight. And Gwyn, not sure about him. That's the only thing that is slightly annoying me about this season, is that, and it happens in all leagues, and I'm guilty of being on the offensive end myself, is that you don't always get people finishing seasons. I'm very guilty of that myself this season. I'm pulled out of a league this season. So I know it's a bit rich, but it's what it is. So 2 races for you tonight. Then the first is going to be a 10-lap race. The drivers won't be limited to fuel. They won't be limited to tyres, nothing like that. No pit stop rules in a sense. They will still have tyre deg and fuel depletion on, but they just won't have any rules to circumnavigate. The top 3 finishes in that race will then have success ballast added to the cars for the feature race, which will be 16 laps. see Quinn make a mistake. Yeah, 16 laps then, they will only be given 70 kilos of fuel. They aren't allowed to change tyres before the end of lap 4. They have to use 2 different compounds of tyre as well, so like a medium and a soft, or a medium and a hard. Hopefully the teams will have got their head around those, I want to say restrictions, not restrictions so to speak, but Catalunya's famous in the GTs for having very high tyre degradation. So let's just see what the first bank time's going to be from a Mr. Phil G. So Phil G gets us underway in qualifying with a 1:44.8. I don't know how good that is. That's not as good as Britsberger, who puts it on pole with a 44.4. Duco next across the line is going to be a 43.7, so he goes pole by quite a lot. Cutler 46.1 for Cutler. Rob Scott, what can he do? He's put a 47.1 on the board, good enough for P5. Lucky Bucky 50.3, immediately beaten by Sonic Racing with a 46.1 for the Jaguar driver. Gwyn is going to be next across the line in the other Jaguar there. What does Gwyn put on the board? It's not going to be a great time. It's a 2:10, so yeah, made a mistake somewhere across the line. Sean 46.3. Quinn, who we saw had that issue, so he's gone in and got some new tyres, and Diablo also on an outlap. Hey up, it's the geezer. Alright geezer. Alright mate, how you doing? Alright geezer, lads. That's alright mate. Final round of the Mature Racing Club Team Oliver Racing GT3 League tonight. This is ProAm League. There is a Pro League that is streamed live and direct by Dark Smoke. He should be doing the exact same as what I'm doing, just covering a different set of races. Yeah, so go and check him out. He's over on YouTube. We're just watching a 15-minute qualifying battle which will establish the order for the first race, which is just 10 laps, so it's a sprint race. Track limits proving to be a contentious issue here at Catalunya as Phil G goes around for another one. Doesn't beat his last time though. It's another 44.8 for the Honda driver. Duco's got a penalty, so he's coming in to change his tyres. So a lot of drivers are just going to choose to the tyre deg already. The soft's really only good at qualifying pace. The soft's really only good for 1 lap. Obviously in the race, if you're wanting to run the softs, it's going to be a struggle to get them to 10 laps. Now it sounds easy, I've got to be honest, it does sound easy when you say it like that, but the lateral load that these GTs, which is shown to stack it into the wall, the lateral load that these cars put the tyres under, as we just jump to Rob Scott. Rob, who going into this championship sits 1 point adrift of P1 in the championship. If he outscores, it's as simple as if he outscores Duco by 1 point, then he will take the title. Of course, at the moment, Duco is picking up that pole position point as well. So an additional point for that, and then additional points for fastest lap in each of the 2 races. And then of course your race results points as well. Britsberger is just 6 points adrift of Rob Scott. So again, Nathan, as we see Rob Scott there pick up a little bit of a penalty. Nathan, who's having a fine second half of the season in that Aston Martin, he's really come on form at the moment. And like I say, if he outscores Rob Scott by 6, yeah, he'll take that second place. He's 7 points adrift of Duco, so yeah, he could quite, with 2 races tonight, he could quite easily take the title. Diablo mathematically is still it's still possible for Diablo to take the title, but it's going to be a bit more of an ask. In fact, no, it isn't mathematically possible for Diablo to take the title, I don't think. Let's have a look. It is actually, but it'd need everyone else to pretty much disconnect. It basically needs Duco, Britsberger and Rob Scott to not score any points, which as we know isn't going to happen. So Rob's going in for another lap. Now those softs are far past their best. The Mercedes has been in for a fresh set of the soft compound tyre. So what we'll no doubt end up seeing through this qualifying session, just a little bit of track evolution. So as the drivers are going round, they're depositing rubber into the circuit. It's rubbering the circuit in, as you will have heard people talk about, and that in turn will make the track grippier. The cars are also getting lighter as they're burning a little bit of fuel load away. By regulation, they have to go out with full tanks of fuel. It's a bit of a silly rule. It's a GT Sport thing. You're not allowed to dictate how much fuel you put in your fuel tank. They have to be burned before you leave the garage. So in the 15 minutes, part of the challenge is burning as much of that fuel away. Greta Thunberg approves of this tactic, and that basically means the more fuel you've got out of your car, the faster in theory your car is. So we've got Phil G in changing some tyres. Britsberger setting his second proper flying lap now. It's a 44.4 for the Aston Martin driver to beat, which was his time, but a 43.7 will put him on pole. What's it going to be? It's going to be a 43.9 then for Britsberger, so a big improvement on his time. Shaves 5-6 tenths off his time there, but unfortunately it's a couple of tenths shy of Duco's 43.7, a 44.2 that time round for Duco, so he doesn't improve this time round. He will probably use this as an in-lap now, burn a bit more fuel away, and then go at it once again, get some more fresh tyres on there. Britsberger will probably do the same. Phil G has dropped that mic a lap early, so he's now on his out lap. He's got Rob Scott behind him. Is Rob on a flyer? I want to say he is, but at the same point, is he really improving his time with those tyres? Those tyres have been on the car for quite a few laps now, so yeah, he's not setting better times. So we might just see the Chevrolet driver just wait for that track to evolve. He may be feeling the pressure this weekend of just trying to get the result. He's 4 tenths up in his time actually, so he's predicted to set a high 44, which will be good enough for like a lucky bucky sort of area, so a second row of the grid at the moment. But I also wouldn't be surprised if he throws it in the pits at the end of the lap and gets those tyres changed and just goes for one hot one at the end. Alright, so what do these guys do then? So does Britsberger throws it in the pits. I would heavily anticipate that Duco's going to do the same. He does indeed, so those guys go into the pits. Phil G out now for another flying lap. He's just completed his out lap last time round. Rob Scott carries on. Is he? I mean, he did improve. He did put a 44.6 on the board, so P4 then for Rob Scott. He leapfrogs Lucky Bucky and Sonic Racer. So he might not be too disappointed at that, but he might also be running out of time. So by the time he gets round, it'll be 15. And he should be able to do it actually. He should be able to get round to set 1 fast lap right at the end of the session. Cutler then out, just going through turn 3 now. 45.4 on the board for Cutler, 1.6 seconds off the pace at the moment, is up on his time. Sean in the McLaren had a great qualifying time last time at Brands Hatch, and an equally impressive race, 45.8 for the McLaren at the moment. Just really struggling on out of corner traction there in the 650S GT3. It's just not really gripping quite as much as he'd have liked. So Duco and Britsberger just on their preparation laps now. Phil G just been through sector 2. Phil G actually purple in sector 2. We've got Cutler and Diablo both improving as well, but we will stick with Phil G as we go across the line. As Sean looks to have improved his time in the McLaren. He's up to P7. Phil G though was purple sector 2. 43.7 to beat. It's going to have to be a mighty lap for Phil G. It is a mighty lap for Phil G, but it's only 44.2. Now he has got enough tyres to go for another one, so he might well just do that. Sean then, as we commented, a 45.1, takes 7 tenths off his time, leapfrogs himself above Mr. Cutler. Cutler, who's just come around the final corner now, 45.4 for Cutler to beat. Can he get into the 44 clubs? He can. 44.6 for Cutler, goes to P5, displaces Lucky Bucky and Sonic Racer back down again. And Rob Scott now in the pits, so he's going to be pretty touch and go for getting round to set another lap. Has the Chevrolet team just dropped the ball here as far as getting him out in time for his last flying lap? Talking of flying laps, Duco and Britsberger are on their flying laps now. There is a car in between them. It looks like Lucky Bucky. It is Lucky Bucky. So all three of these cars are on fast laps now, as we just saw Britsberger go wide there though out the exit of turn 3. That's going to give him some dirty tyres. He goes onto the marbles. Yeah, he's going to have to abandon this one. Duco then right on the back of Lucky Bucky. Let's just stay on board with the championship leader as we navigate Barcelona. Turn 7 and 8 then, just a dip down. You want to use the camber of the circuit to help you round. This is blind in these GT cars. You have to aim for that little sausage on the inside. Don't run too wide on the exit. You will pick up a penalty, a track limit infraction for that. Looking for the light board on the right hand side, braking at that. We are purple then in the Mercedes, but we are also tucked up behind another Mercedes. That one's Lucky Bucky, and just a little bit untidy there on the exit of turn 10 for Duco, as we now navigate in towards the chicane. The most hated series of corners on circuit. Just to nullify any action that may come down into turn 1. Oh, when a really untidy penultimate corner for Duco, that's going to cost him an improved time. The good news for Duco, I guess, he's already got that pole position, and it looks like Rob Scott, he might have just got round in time. We will keep an eye on him then. He's going to be probably the last driver to set a lap time. Phil G didn't improve that time round. 44.3 that time round. 44.2 is the time he'll carry over. Just 1 second. So we're just seeing if Phil G can take that fastest lap point off Duco. Just one more corner to negotiate them for the Honda NSX. Jump on board, he maximises the revs, and coming out the final corner. 43.7 to beat. It's not going to be enough, I'm afraid. It's a 44.3. Let's jump to Rob Scott, see if he can do anything. He was showing us personal best sector 1, didn't improve sector 2. Sector 3 would have to be mighty for the Chevrolet driver, but at the same point, this is where the times are won and lost. So it's a 43.7 for pole, 44.6 to beat for him. Rob Scott does improve, he displaces Phil G down another spot, and that will put Rob Scott in P3 then with a 44.0. We've got a couple of drivers now just going in to change those tyres for the opening stint. So now the teams will have to just decide what tyres they need for the opening stint. Obviously, I mean, there's no tyre rules here. Some drivers won't feel like they can make the full 10 laps using the regulation, using just the soft tyre alone. Some may be going long, some may try and just risk it for a chocolate biscuit on the soft. Try and Duco in there. So he gets the fastest lap point. Right, so that's the extra point then position for Duco. That puts him 2 points clear at the top of the leaderboard. And now just a little bit of a reminder of the point system. So a win is worth 21 points. A second place is worth 18. A third is 15. Fourth, 13. Then it's 12, 11, 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pretty much in that order. So it's definitely worth going for the win if you're in second place. It's an extra 3 points. Likewise, if you're in third, going for second is an extra 3 points. Fourth to third, not such a big jump. Let me just jump back to my Twitch chat because I'm conscious I might be missing stuff. I don't think I am. No. Roving Island can't be. Oh, you might. Yeah, I read about your monitor there, Jeff. Yeah, I read about that. It's a bit disappointing, man. It's kind of one of the perks of using a TV, I guess. If it packs up, then I can just go and slap another one in, and it ain't such a big deal. Let me get Twitch chat up on my phone, and then I don't have to use my laptop for chat. Twitch app on my phone is not working. You see Duco then just getting his practice starts in. There we go, chat is working on that. So with this league then, just a reminder for anyone that maybe hasn't seen or forgets like I do from time to time, this is aimed at more of a full simulation sort of benchmark. So the drivers aren't allowed use of any traction aids, traction control, stability management, counter steering assist. None of that is allowed or permitted. And by regulation, there is also what we call the heavy damage module, which essentially means that any damage sustained within the race, the drivers carry until they get it repaired in the pits. Like you would probably expect in real life racing, whereas Gran Turismo Sport does allow you to have damage that fixes on the go, and it's just sort of like a temporary pain. So here we go then, 10 laps of Catalunya for the sprint race. I'll then update the points between races, and we should have a good idea of what needs to happen in race 2 for us to crown a champion tonight. Obviously all this will be provisional pending like any official reviews, that sort of thing that goes through, but I'll at least be able to give you the points, and then if stewards later on have to rectify it, they'll rectify it. So it's a long run down to turn 1 then. As anyone that watched the Formula 1 recently will know, slipstream down here is key. Rob Scott's in a prime position in P3. Duco, is that extra point worth it? Because he's going to be punching a hole in the air for everyone. The green lights go, Duco gets a poor start, Rob Scott flies off the start line. The Mercedes that always get a good start, this time round Duco didn't. He's actually getting swamped now. He's got Britsberger to one side, Rob Scott's fighting for position behind him. Then we've got Phil G in the Honda on the other side as well. Duco's gone deep into the corner. He's going to have to take to the escape road. He's probably just got in the way there. Phil G leaps into the lead. I've got Britsberger in for Rob Scott's dropped a few positions then. He's down in 5th. Don't forget he needs to be outscoring Duco tonight in order to retain any hope of getting a championship result. He does have 2 races in which to do that, of course, but you want to make your life a little bit easier and at least try and overhaul your adversary straight away. Rob Scott then holding 5th at the minute. We've got Phil G leading the race though. Just a nice sensible start from the Honda driver. He's leapt himself to the top. Then we've got Duco in P2. Did get a bit of a poor start, the Mercedes driver. Then Britsberger, another championship contender, P3 at the moment, with Cutler in 4th. Now Cutler will have a bit of a trick up his sleeve tonight. He will whisper to those tyres gently. I'm looking at what tyres everyone is on, so everyone appears to be taking the soft compounder tyre aside from Quinn and Gwyn. So Quinn and Gwen are both using the mediums. Because anyone using the soft tyre will have to nurse that tyre all the way through, because they won't want a pit, of course. A pit stop will cost you quite a bit of time, and you don't want to use that time. It's about a minute that it takes you, and in a 10 lap race, spending a minute of it just sat stationary just doesn't make any sense at all. So the Chevrolet then of Rob Scott, what does he do going forward? Does he bide his time then? You can see Duco is 4 seconds up the road. Does he just let the cars ahead just push, with the hope of burning their tyres out later on in the race? Does Rob Scott have to push to get into the slipstream of the cars ahead? Of course, he's just out of the slipstream that Cutler will be punching through right now. For that slipstream to be effective, about 6-7 tenths is the magic number. Rob Scott's currently at about 8-9 tenths, so he's just out of that. Britzberger though right up behind Duco now. Duco is not really able to catch up to Phil G at the moment. The Honda is starting to scoot away. We know how well the Honda holds its tyres as well. So does the McLaren of Sean. The McLaren of Sean that, of course, he's all the way down 9th at the moment, but could come good in the race, because that thing does really look after its tyres. Just jump on board with the Aston Martin of Britzberger, then currently holding P3 in the overall championship, P3 in the race. Again, the Aston does like to use its front tyres. There's a lot of weight pushed down on that front axle then of the Aston Martin, as we're just going to keep an eye on the slipstream battle between Duco and Britzberger. It's going to come to a head any moment. Duco's not able to fully defend that. He's going to squeeze Britzberger as narrow as he possibly can. Has to give him just enough room. Britzberger gets the move made, but Duco goes for that cutback. And Mercedes then does just have to yield the position. And that does allow Britzberger through. So yeah, you can see what he was trying to do there, but Britzberger just about got it tidied up enough on the apex. The Aston Martin does go through. They have a couple of second gap though to Cutler. Cutler though is now getting caught by Rob Scott. Rob, who in turn is getting caught by Lucky Bucky. Oh, and Lucky Bucky just makes a bit of a mistake there. That was a wheel on the grass, I'm afraid, during braking. So, of course, the brakes in these cars do work on the rear wheels as well. So, coming downhill, fully loaded rear tyre, and he did well to recover that, but that will have given him a bit of an uncomfortable flat spot on that tyre, and he'll be getting shaken around like a brick in a tumble dry at the moment with Lucky Bucky. But it will take a little bit of life out of that Michelin soft tyre that's strapped to the axles of that Mercedes at the moment. Meanwhile, back up at the top, coming to the end of lap 3, about to start lap 4 is Phil G, 1.5 seconds ahead of Britzberger and the Aston Martin. Britzberger now has got a bit more of a gap ahead of Duco. As you can see behind it, we've got Rob Scott and Cutler fighting away. Rob really needs to try and get this move made. He's going to go for the cover. It's a beautiful move by the Chevrolet driver. Cutler just went a little bit too deep on the brakes. Rob Scott is now behind Duco on track, so this is again minimising the points loss so far. We have another 6 laps to go. Rob could of course catch and overtake Duco, and that would throw the title wide open, and it'd leave Duco with all the work to do then in the final race. Whichever way, whatever way you cut it, I think we're going to have a title fight on our hands during the feature race. So definitely stick around for that, because it's going to be a little bit spicy. At the moment, Britzberger's closing that gap as well. If it were to finish like this, Britzberger would pick up 18 points, Duco 15 and Rob Scott 13. So yeah, Britsberger would then probably leapfrog Rob Scott and go into P2 in the championship. But of course we'll work all that out once we know confirmed results. I don't have the mental capacity to sit here working out during the race what's going to happen. So Lucky Bucky, after turning his tyres into 50 pence pieces, is holding P7 at the moment ahead of Diablo. A little bit of lagging going on there for the Australian's Ford Mustang. It's just about managing them. We've got Sean in 9th at the moment in the McLaren. He is ahead of Quinn and Gwyn though, so have a look at lap time. So 45.0 that time round for Duco, 44.9 for Rob Scott. So the gap staying about the same. Rob, like I said, has got about another 5 laps or so to reduce the deficit to the Mercedes. The good news for Rob is the Mercedes has used up a bit more of its tyre than the Chevrolet has. So coming towards the latter part of the race, and we saw this for Duco quite recently as well, in that the Mercedes team used to go with quite an aggressive setup on that car, whether it be damper rates or camera angle, and that just means that the Mercedes doesn't push on its tyres a lot more. It has a great amount of grip, but in races like this where you want to nurse your tyres a little bit, and Mercedes just isn't built for that. The way the way some of the teams set the cars up can be quite supple. You can see it in the way that they ride curbs. A good example of that is Cutler's car, and it goes over curbs sometimes. You can barely tell it's ridden them, just because of how supple the ride is on that car. It means you can't quite push as much on the tyre going through corners, but it does mean the tyre lasts a lot longer, so your average race pace time should be a lot faster if you can drive to that. Potentially coming under fire then from the Jaguar Sonic Racer now is Cutler, with Lucky Bucky in very close proximity. Let's just keep an eye on. Right, so Britsberger's not catching up to Phil. Rob Scott that lap took 4 tenths out of Duco. So that fight, if it goes like this, if it carries on, we are going to see Rob Scott catch Duco on lap 9. By my rough maths, it is when we should see that fight happen. If it carries on like this, it may change. It's all too easy for little mistakes to happen, but at the moment the gap is 1.4 seconds. That has, I want to say, has Duco made a mistake somewhere? Because that has just dropped, that time has dropped like a stone. Nothing coming up specifically here. Let's just see when he breaks his timing beam. His best lap at the moment at 44.6, so it'll give us a time relative to that. It'll give us his delta, so he's 7 tenths down on that. So yeah, similar pace to the last lap. Rob Scott is just holding his tyres a little bit better at the moment. Phil G pulling that gap then to the Aston Martin. 2.2 seconds is the gap then for the Honda driver. He's just popped his fastest lap of the race in at 44.3. And although Britsberger would love to catch him, I also think he might be a little bit wary, just taking too much steam out of his tyres, although it won't be for lack of trying from Mr. Myers, I can guarantee you that. As it crossed the line then, the gap between Duco and Rob Scott, 2.1 seconds, so that gap did get extended. Rob made a mistake somewhere in the latter part of that lap, because it was similar lap times from the road. Both did 45.4s. Sonic Racing not quite close enough yet to get that move made on Cutler, but he is looking. Sean then up to P8. We've got Diablo, who's made a mistake somewhere, has he? 48. What? Oh yeah, he's had a massive mistake somewhere for Diablo. We didn't see it, I'm afraid. I'm sure he'll be disappointed I didn't cover that. So Rob is catching Duco again. So is he just really poor in the final sector then, the Chevrolet? Is the Mercedes, again like I said, the Mercedes is just set up for running that final sector as fast as he possibly can. Phil G nice and tidy through turn 10, gets the car sat down, plants the throttle, less than a second between the two now. Let's see if the Mercedes just scoots off them through the chicane. Neither car looks unhappy going through that. Mercedes taking more curve. Oh, Duco again just making a bit of a mistake. And that's Rob Scott through into P3. So Duco then, we saw that happening qualifying. The Mercedes just hit that. He took a little bit too much sausage on, did Duco, and unfortunately that and a very stiffly sprung Mercedes, the two didn't agree. Will Duco go for the cutback move? We saw him try earlier on, didn't make that happen this time. Will that fight carry on into the long sweep in turn 3? Again, the Mercedes should be better around here than the Chevrolet. Got the inside line tucked up. Rob immediately moves to cover that off. Duco's going to be hassling him like a fat kid in a cupcake. Might try and make Rob go deep. Both cars go deep. Duco this time just running out of tyre. I think he's just limited by the tyre on that Mercedes at the moment, but very good racing between these two. Rob now could just do with a couple of attempts gap before he gets onto the start-finish straight. He's got the fuel. He doesn't need to worry about short shift in this car. He can rev it out now. Both drivers, in fact, have got the fuel to play with, and as you can see, as we start to go through the handling sections, this is where Rob now, in theory, with the better tyre, this is where Rob should just start to pull that gap. Goes a little bit deep through turn 10. It's quite fortunate in the fact that Duco does the exact same thing. Look at just the Mercedes, look at that, just how it washes out there in the dirty air. No aero grip at the front of that, and no tyre on there either, basically, and the car just doesn't sit right now. See if he takes, much happier on the curb this time, and Rob has just about managed to drop Duco out of his slipstream, then going down the main start-finish straight. So yeah, Duco's not going to be able to get that move made. Let's go back and have a look at a lap ago. So this is as he was defending against Rob Scott. So just watch the curb here, and just the back doesn't settle down on the Mercedes at all, and that just means Duco a lot slower coming out of the corner, and Rob able to sweep around. So Phil then pulling out maximum time. Close is so Rob and Britsberger, that realistically isn't going to kick off. Britsberger at the minute holding the fastest lap point as well, so he picks up an extra point for that unless that changes. Now that if the results were to stay like this and not change, the title is split between 3 drivers and 2 points. Duco and Rob Scott would be tied at 274 points each. Britsberger just 2 points behind them with 272 points. So very, very, very close between the title protagonists. Going on to start the final lap now though is Phil G, who got out front early, kept that position, absolutely stunning pace as well for the Honda driver. He has been getting caught a little bit by Britsberger, just his tyres are starting to go off. Britsberger just had a slightly better lap that time round, but he's never looked under threat. And Phil G now moves through turn 3 just fine. Britsberger then, great race for Britsberger as well, got out of this little fight. We've been treated to a great fight so in this race between Rob and Duco. We'll see if that can carry on into the feature race. Don't forget Rob's going to have ballast on his car. Duco isn't. Right, will that play into effect in the second race? We will wait and see. Cutler has survived the onslaught from the Jaguar Sonic racers so far. We've also had an issue with... no, we haven't had an issue. It was Diablo's issue earlier that's messing me all around. Looking at how the McLaren's holding those tyres though, the front tyres, they're practically new. It's just massaging those wheels around that around the course at the moment. Is Duco under threat here from Cutler? 1.4 seconds though. I mean, only a handful of corners to go. I should think he's about safe. But let's give plaudits where plaudits are due, and all the adulation and applause to the one and only Phil G. So glad to see this guy get a good result. So he takes the win in race 1 here at Barcelona for the final. Britsberger then puts himself in genuine title contention, and with a P2 here, Rob Scott makes it level between him and Duco with a P3. As you go 4th, Cutler 5th, Sonic Racer 6th, Lucky Bucky in 7th, Sean with a P8, and a good starting position for race 2 for the McLaren. Quinn is going to finish 9th, Diablo in 10th, had some sort of issues somewhere along the line, and you can see that the Mustang just doesn't look like it wants to behave here at Catalunya, and Gwyn is going to finish the race in P11. So that, like I say, that blows it wide open. Britsberger does take that fastest lap point. I'm just going to do the points in a second. We'll resort all the tables out and we'll know where everyone sits. Good luck, everybody. Right, so I'd put Sean in 8th of 9 points, yeah. Then it's Quinn. Diablo. Unfortunately, that's pretty much screwed Diablo up because he was battling pretty much directly with Cutler in the championship. Right then, so let's organise these final standings. Give me a sec. I'm just trying to fix my I don't want to filter those. I want to filter these. Yeah, they're the ones I want to filter. Yeah, I want those. And can you do this? Sort largest to smallest. Okay. Right, let me update the drivers. Update standings going into the final race. I can't type. Sorry. I'm so bad I can't type. Yeah, so yeah, the top 3 drivers from that race, they need to add a little bit of weight to their cars. So obviously Phil G's gonna have a very heavy car. Britsberger's going to have nearly as heavy a car, and Rob Scott's going to have a little bit of weight added to his Chevrolet as well. In terms of exactly how much, I forget, I can't remember how much. It's significant though. Well done, Phil and top three. Yeah, it was a good race, that one. I think this one's going to be a little bit more, people are going to be more careful. They're going to be a lot more careful. We've seen taking softs that long, 10 laps, is going to be difficult. It's going to be a struggle. So I'd be very surprised if we see that happen again. Fastest lap was Britsberger. Yeah, so he's tied for first. Zico 274 points, Rob Scott 274 points, Britsberger 272 points. Cutler 233 points. Then he's just 2 points now ahead of Phil G, who sits in 6th. Diablo does drop then. He's sorry, let me just redo this because I've messed it all up. I'm going to do that. There we go, makes a bit more sense now. Yeah, so Cutler moves to 4th. Phil G 5th, but only 2 points behind. So Phil, Cutler and Diablo, nice little battle for 4th as well. What else could happen? What else could happen? So yeah, that mathematically does undo a few people. So it basically means that the top 3 of the championship are going to be Duco, Rob Scott and Britsberger. It's just a case of what order they finish in. Evening, dude. How you doing? Lucky Bucky, you are P8 in the championship. And you're gonna stay there, mate. No one's gonna displace you, and you're not. So you're behind Sean, but there's 31 points between you. So unfortunately, you're not gonna get him. But Sonic Racer is 27 points behind you, so you're safe. You're safe in P8, dude. No one's taking that from you. Few little nice. Yeah, so a few little nice battles. So Cutler, Phil G, Diablo, we'll keep an eye on that one in the race. Then there'll be Duco, Rob Scott and Britsberger. That's the heavy hitter. Of course, we're going to have Britsberger and Rob with ballast weight. Duco's not going to have that. So you've got to say he's in the favourable position here. The Mercedes driver. And don't forget, we've got 3 different manufacturers as well. We've got Mercedes, we've got Chevrolet, and we've got Aston Martin, representing the top 3 of the championship, driven by 3 different drivers that have had very different seasons as well. So it's Duco's first real season in the hot seat for sim racing. Britsberger was a bit of a late bloomer as far as his form was concerned. Rob's been relatively consistent, but he's had 1 or 2 sort of off races. Yeah, mate. Yeah, Lucky Bucky, you've it's one of them, dude. I think with the performances you've had in the championship, you could have definitely climbed up there, but you know, real life has to come first, man. You know what I mean? You definitely would have been battling around a Diablo, Phil G, Cutler territory. Alright, so we are about ready then to get underway for race number 2, the final race of the season. I will use this 2 minutes just to say, obviously, as far as I'm concerned at the moment, this is going to be my final time commentating on the GT3 Championship. As it stands, I don't have any plans to return. However, we will see. I've told Nev today that I'll just let him know when he knows a little bit more about what do you call it, about what dates and stuff the next season's going to hold. I have enjoyed this one. It's a little bit more, it's a lot more interesting to commentate over in terms of the proper strategy. There's been some really good battles. The only thing that's been a shame is the turnout sometimes. The fact that we have had, like, not everyone turn up every week, which happens. Like, it's not an issue, but from a commentary point of view, I'd rather have a full grid of cars to talk over than 5 or 6, you know. So the good thing is it's not been an issue for most of the races this season, and if that's the only thing I can pull out of it, that's about it. So thank you to everyone that has tuned in to a race, whether you've stuck in for 2 minutes, seen what's going on, and then gone and watched choreo or something. Still appreciate it. Of course, we'll have a proper roundup of everything towards the end of this one. We have got a second race coming up for you. This one's going to be 16 laps. So another 6 laps on top. Did I save the replay? Yes, I did. So another 6 laps on top of that one. The drivers in this one do have to use 2 separate compactor tyres. Expect to see drivers take the mediums to start with, especially if you're starting anywhere near the back. Cheers, Roving Allen. Yeah, like I say, mate, I'm not sure yet what's gonna happen. I just feel like I need a break. Do you know what I mean? But of course, as I always say, we will see what the future holds. I very much believe that I'll be back at some point. I just can't say when. Let me on. Right then, so here we go again. 16 laps this time. We've got a slightly cooler track as well. The clouds descended here in Barcelona. That will make the track a little bit less grippy, and it will make the tyres a lot harder to warm up then during the opening laps, and with a lot of drivers using the mediums, that might well be an issue. Here we go then. It looked like Gwyn got a bit of a poor start. Quinn in the Mercedes got an absolute flyer, but Sean in the McLaren is immediately battling near the front of the grid. We've got a Jaguar that's gone off the track. That Jag's pulled well and truly out of the way. Sean knows through to the front of the grid, followed closely by Lucky Bucky in the Mercedes. Then it's Cutler in the other Mercedes. Then you've got Diablo trying to find the gap through the inside of turn 3. Quinn, who got quite a good start, I see, in P5. Then Sonic Racer P6. Rob Scott 7th at the minute. Phil G in 8th. Duco 9th. Britsberger in 10th. And Gwyn in 11th then. So we'll keep an eye on the front just for the time being, as we just jump on board the Digital Car Culture McLaren that is leading the race here in the final race of the season. We've seen just how well Sean massages his tyres through the race. He's running the softs at the moment. So is Lucky Bucky, so is Diablo, so is Cutler, so is Quinn. Yeah, so the top 5 all using the soft compound tyre actually, so I would expect to see a little bit of a gap form as we see Cutler there go for a move down the inside of the Mustang. Mustang having to serve a little bit of a penalty. Yes, Sonic Racer running the medium. Rob Scott also on the medium, being challenged by Phil G, also running the medium tyre. Would expect all these guys to be on the mediums. Britsberger though on the soft tyre. So Britsberger and the Aston Martin rolling the dice. The problem he's going to have is always Sean's in the pit lane. We've got an issue. We will go back and have a look at that and see what happened. And there's a car waiting for him. It's Lucky Bucky. Sean's in the pits. What on earth happened there? Let's jump on board Lucky Bucky. I think he might have got a good view of this. Oh, he just the tiniest of nudges. The tiniest of nudges. Well, let's see if we can get a Cutler eye view of that, because I think Cutler got a very good view of it as Diablo jumps into the lead of the race. So you can see the McLaren and the Mercedes are battling away. Mercedes just gives the McLaren, it's a tiny tap. In fact, it might not even be any contact. It's there's that minuscule, but it's a bit of a race ender for Sean, I'm afraid. He is back out. Obviously got that damage repaired, and lucky Bucky, ever the gentleman, has waited for him. Of course, those pit stops can't count towards their regulation pit stops, I'm afraid. They lucky Bucky just actually waited by the side of the track. He didn't gain anything out of that. Right then, so Diablo leading the way then as we come down towards the end of lap 2. It goes very deep though into turn 10. That's going to invite Cutler to make a move potentially. Then you've got Quinn in 3rd, Sonic Racer 4th. Britsberger though, trying to carve through the field on that soft compound tyre. Once he's past Sonic Racer, he's past all the medium runners. So the Aston Martin, I think we'll probably try and go for that move on the Jag, but the Jag gets a great slingshot exit out of the final corner and pulls 2 tenths immediately as Rob Scott and Duco go to war. Then every overtake, every position is vital points in what is a very close contest. And you're looking at the top 3 drivers here, all battling away for those vital points as Rob Scott goes down the inside then of Britsberger. Rob gets... Does he get sent out wide? I've always gone off the circuit. That's bad news for Rob. Let's have a look. What happened? Oh, he's just late on the brakes, I think. Oh yeah, and then he got a boot full of oversteer. That sends him into the gravel. So unfortunately for the Chevrolet, that might just put him out of contention. He's now dropped quite a way back from Duco and Co. 6 seconds, maybe even a little bit more between Rob Scott and Duco. So Duco is now directly fighting with Britsberger. As it exactly stands, Duco would still be the champion. Britsberger's 2-point gap isn't enough to be overhauled with just 1 position. He would need to do a few more overtakes, and he gets one of those overtakes done then on the Jaguar. Of course, we've got a round of pit stops to come and all sorts of weird and wonderful stuff to happen yet, but as it stands, we yet again have a tie in the championship fight. It would go off number of wins or something daft like that, I think. But your race leader, setting the fastest lap of the race so far, is Diablo, starting lap number 4. These guys on the soft tyres will want quite long stints. So Diablo, Cutler, Quinn, and Britsberger, these guys are all going to want to extend those stints. Duco gets himself back into the lead of the championship by overtaking the Jag there of Sonic Racer. Of course, Duco on the medium compound tyre, so he's the first driver out, position wise, that is running that medium compound tyre, the slower tyre. That means he has the fastest tyre yet to come to him later on in the race, assuming of course that all the teams are going to go with the predicted tyre allocation of mediums and softs. In terms of the other battle that was going on then, that was between Cutler, Phil G and Diablo. Well, Cutler at the minute is winning that, holding P2, but Phil G doing himself no harm at all at the moment. He's down in P7, but he's running the medium compound tyre, so his race is going to come to him yet. Diablo winning the race at the moment, so also would be closing that gap up. So yeah, he'd overtake Phil G as it stands, but wouldn't quite catch Cutler, I don't think. So lots to do. When do we think the pit stop window will open? We'll predict a pit stop window, although the pit stop window will open at the end of the next lap. We don't think any drivers are going to come in until the end of lap 6 is what our analysts have been saying to us, but some drivers may shock us and go for the undercut. Rob Scott's going to get that pit stop done. Oh, it's end of lap 4 that they're on now, yeah, so the actual pit stop window is open now, so Rob Scott can come in and do that. Right, so he's going to go for the aggressive strategy. That's 12 laps on a set of soft tyres. The undercut here, as anyone will have seen in the Formula 1, is very powerful. So Rob can get himself out of that traffic, get himself onto the fast tyre, have a really fast outlap. The problem for Rob is he might actually come out around Sean and Lucky Bucky. He might come out around Sean and Lucky Bucky, we'll see. I'm not sure what happened to Gwyn at the start. I think he actually just pulled out of everyone's way, I think. Looking at where he landed. Right, yeah, so Rob Scott on the softs. I'd probably expect him to go into nurse mode with these tyres. But you would expect a set of the softs will be faster than the mediums over a race distance. The top guys, especially your Cutlers of the world, your Cutlers and your Britsburgers that are generally doing quite well on their tyres. It's a question of when we'll see Duco in. As Quinn then goes off-roading in the Mercedes. And he's also on the soft, so he's got his way past Sonic Racing. So when does Duco choose to come into the pits? He's not going to come in now, so yeah, he's gambling on a bit more of a safe strategy. So again, what we saw with that Mercedes was eating its tyres, especially the softs. It wasn't able to maintain the temperatures of the tyres to keep them in really, really good shape. And we did see that car was eating the tyres a little bit more. As we pick up Britsburger, then come around turn 2. He's just put his fastest lap of the race in. It's not really worth making any bold predictions until the first round of pit stops is done with, and then what I'll do is I'll plump the standings into our little calculator here, and I'll be able to give you a sort of more close look as to where people may finish. Of course, it could all change. We have another 10 laps remaining of the season then. A good opportunity to remind you that this league would not be possible without the support of Team Oliver Racing and Martin Oliver Transport. They've supported this thing the entire way through. We've also been running this league in association with We Are Driven, the foundation initiative set up by a group of sim racers. As we see Cutler here go for the move on Diablo. Diablo sees that late, actually backs out of any defensive move, and that's Cutler into the lead. Cutler, I'd imagine, will stay out as long as he can on those soft tyres. He'll just try and make them work. Diablo's tyres have seen better days. Britsburger will probably have to start catching him at a rate of knots now. Diablo stays out then, does he? Yeah, he does. Duco stays out as well. So he's going a bit more conservative then. So 45.4 that time round for Duco. What did Rob Scott do in comparison? 44.0 for Rob Scott. Oh wait, no, that was his pit lap. So we'll get a good indication this time round of Rob Scott's pace. I would be very surprised if we don't see a new fastest lap for Rob Scott on his 7th lap. What we'll see. So lots potentially to happen as Phil G goes on the attack then against Quinn. Lucky Bucky, Gwyn and Sean all battling away for that P8 position. Rob Scott doesn't set a fastest lap of the race, but he does go personal best, so a 45.5, and compare that to Duco's 46.2. Yeah, so not a great lap actually for Rob Scott. He's just taking a while to get them tyres up to 10 maybe, or he's nursing them. I would actually expect when Duco goes onto those tyres, he gives them a little bit more of a hard time. He's giving himself that safety barrier with sticking the mediums out this long. Also, don't forget, he's got his slowest compounder tyre out of the way quite nice and early, as opposed to the top 3 at the moment who are all out there on the soft tyre. These are guys that need to extend this stint as much as it really can. They're doing mid 44s. Starting to dip into the 46s now, some of these guys, so they're actually lapping similar pace now to what the Mercedes on mediums is doing behind them. The Lucky Bucky and Sean fight hasn't fully reignited just yet. And again, lots potentially change here at Barcelona Catalunya. We've got another handful of laps, as we saw. Potentially was it an overtake there between Diablo and Britzberger. The Aston Martin leaps himself into second place. Although what I will say is a lot of these positions are frankly just relative at the moment. They're not fully realistic of what we might see at the end of the race, but this was just the advantage of better tyres. A little bit of contact there between Britzberger and Diablo. Just on the apex of turn 3, and that's the Aston Martin through to P2. In terms of fuel loads, most drivers still carrying around 20 kilos, 20 to 25 kilos of fuel on board. They won't need a full tank when they come in. So if already done 8, like, yeah, they're not going to need a full tank. See Phil G versus Quinn. It's Honda v Mercedes. Oh, and Quinn just gets it just a little bit wrong there. The Mercedes on soft tyres, but those soft tyres have definitely seen better days. And the Honda then now up to P5, but importantly 6 seconds behind Duco. So if you've got a driver that is nearing a pit stop, and all of them have a driver that is nearing a pit stop, you're looking at the gaps on track to see where your car can potentially come out, as Phil G and Quinn. As Phil G tries to break the slipstream then to the Mercedes as we run down to turn 1 for the 9th time of asking. We see Sonic Racer into the pits. Phil G nice and late on the brakes, keeps that P5. Quinn though is going to try and sweep it back round. Phil, well, there's a tight difference between these guys. Phil's medium slightly better shape than Quinn's softs, which have done 9 laps now. And as we've already explored, 10's about the most you want to really take a set of soft tyres. In anything that isn't a Honda or a McLaren. Those two cars do tend to look after the tyres quite nicely. And Cutler then pulling that lead away at the top. Again, I would fully expect at least Cutler and Britzberger to stretch this stint as much as they possibly can. I can't remember how many laps minimum you have to do on that medium tyre. I want to say it's 3 or 4 laps. They will definitely want to do at least 10 laps on the soft compound. Diablo may pit this lap. Yep, he's had the call from the guys, and he's into the pit lane. Duco also into the pit lane with the medium tyre. So right, so he's going for a nice short stint on that medium, on that soft compound tyre. These are going to be quali laps for Duco. Ladies and gents, expect to see a Mercedes at full chat. No tyre management, none of that nonsense. It will be full ball. Well, not full ball, but it'll be going for it. Is essentially what I am saying. So most of the pit stops are going to start happening around about now. We'll see where this brings Rob Scott into the equation. He's been doing high 45s all the way. That bring him anyone coming out the pit? So he's got a couple of cars ahead of him, so his championship rival is 4 seconds up the road, and he's got some tyre warming to do, and he's also come out in traffic. So this is the problem then, with a couple of these drivers pitting early to repair damage. It has thrown the gaps into disarray, and Duco's got a car on fresh tyres. Lucky Bucky, in fairness, that might have been a call from the Mercedes garage, just to say that's a Mercedes behind you, don't hold it up. And and Lucky Bucky there just lets Duco through. Lucky Bucky, of course, pitted quite early after that lap 1 incident with Sean. Oh, sorry, he hasn't pitted yet. It's Sean that's pitted. I would expect him in probably at the end of this lap to go on to his mediums. So he yet hasn't pitted. Yeah, so about 3 or 4 seconds is the gap then. We've got the leaders in, so Cutler and Britsberger in the pit lane. They'll go on to the mediums. Phil G also in the pit lane. Right, so this is where we see what everyone's got then. This will close things right back up again. As Duco is hassling the Australian for a position on the circuit. Duco's hit a lot of traffic on his outlap. It's going to kind of nullify the undercut that he would have probably been hoping for. What's a wheel spin? Not Mercedes. Right, so where does he come out then? That is Britsberg up ahead. It's going to be 3 wide. That's going to be just in time for Britsberger then. Now the difference is Britsberger is on medium tyres, Duco's on soft. Duco's got his tyres up to temperature now. He's had a lap on them. Does the Aston Martin put up too much of a fight here? These guys aren't rivals for the championship. If Britsberger finishes, what's he need to do? So if he finishes second, he needs, this wouldn't be enough as it stands. As it stands, this wouldn't be enough. Duco would still take the championship, and Mercedes is looking like he's all over him then. Rob Scott, P5 at the moment. But Cutler, so far, Cutler's really throwing a spanner in the works here, taking maximum points from the race. Let's do a quick calculation. Now we've got, as I say that, Duco gets the move made, and he makes that overtake happen. Down into turn 10, nice and easy. Where's Rob Scott? He's P6. Phil 7 points, 10 points for him. Diablo fighting with Britsberger for P3. He gets that move made. Yep, he does. Good move by the Australian. As it stands, Duco then is leading the championship by 7 points. Rob Scott and Britsberger would be tied for the championship. Would be tied for second place, sorry, in the championship. Whereabouts is Sean? Sean is P10. He's currently battling away with Lucky Bucky. Yet to see that one finalised. Where is Gwyn? Gwyn is 11th, so he's going to go up 6 points. Sean, let's just theoretically say that Sean is seven. Lucky Bucky is 9, so he will grab 8. And Sonic. Where is Sonic? Sonic was doing alright, to be fair. His P6 is Sonic Racer. Given the fastest lap point as well to Duco, which would take his total to 19 points for this race. Puts him 8 points clear at the top of the championship as it stands. There is, of course, plenty yet to happen. So it would put Cutler firmly in the driving seat for P4, 254 points. Diablo in 5th and Phil G in 6th. So Diablo, yeah, would just leapfrog. Just leapfrog Phil G with this result at the moment, as it stands, if nothing else were to change. However, something that could well change here is Duco could actually take the win. This is the Formula One all over again, except it's Mercedes v Mercedes and not Mercedes v Red Bull. As a car on fresh soft tyres is chasing down a car on the worn mediums. A handful of laps to go. The gap is less than a second. Cutler's also got a little bit of a penalty to burn away. Britsberger, if Britsberger can get past Diablo, he will take second in the championship. Or will he? Yeah, he will. He will take second in the championship. Wrong way. Is this going to be the last of the late breakers then for Duco? He's going to pull out the slipstream. Cutler breaks a little bit to serve the penalty. There's a little bit of contact there at the apex, and it just doesn't pull out. It just doesn't work out. So for Duco, has to take evasive action. Get some dirty tyres for his troubles as well. Cutler can defend a position like his life depended on it. Oh, Britsberger there just making a bit of a mistake. That's going to drop him out of the immediate threat of getting past Diablo. Just a little bit of a mistake there made by the Aston Martin driver. We haven't seen too many of them this season. Sonic Racer then holding 6th. We've got Phil G in 7th, Quint in 8th, Lucky Bucky in 9th position, Sean in 10th, and Gwyn in the 11th place at the moment. It's still pretty close here. We're just a couple of laps to go. We do have Duco in the lead of the race now. Did just miss that overtake. That was a nice little move there by Duco. We just about caught it. So that is going to gift him full 4 points for this one. So he will. He's definitely shown up and arrived. He's had a couple of bad races. I think even he will admit that. Yeah, he's had the odd. Oh, Phil G snabs that fastest lap point as well. 44.4 for the Honda driver. So that gives him a little bit of extra breathing room. Two laps to go then as champion just rounds his way through turn 4. Cutler just struggling for grip on the medium tyre. Diablo seems to be a little bit more comfortable on that tyre. Diablo could actually get him here. In terms of what this matters for championship positions, I don't think it'll really change too much. Just bragging rights for the drivers, I think, as it stands, and they always like to try and beat each other. Sonic Racer actually on the fresh compound softs has been catching Rob Scott. Now Rob, you'll remember, went for that very risky undercut strategy where he just tried to come in a bit earlier, pitted. Quite early, wasn't it? It was like lap 4. His times have been tapering off ever since. The tyres on that car now have definitely seen better days. He's actually coming under pressure now from Sonic Racer and the Jag. Sonic Racer is on much better tyres. Also then getting hassled by Phil G. Phil here could potentially pick up 2 for the price of 1, the Honda driver. obviously Phil is carrying maximum weight, and you can just see the effect of that coming down the main straight. Even with double slipstream, he's still losing toe. Really nice and confident on the brakes though, Phil, and just because Sonic Racer made a tiny mistake on the braking, Phil is able to make that move up to P6. Yeah, considering he's carrying maximum ballast, it's quite a lot. It's a substantial amount of weight. Is he going to try and go around the outside here of Rob Scott? That's a grey bear driving from Phil G. 2 cars, 2 corners, 2 overtakes, and that's Phil up to P5 with a fastest lap point as well to boot. So Phil at the moment absolutely rocking it, and unfortunately Rob Scott is just losing positions left, right and centre. Now down to P6. Sonic Racer, no, P7, sorry, Sonic Racer's in P6. We'll do all that at the end anyway. We're on the final lap, so just going around to claim the title, to claim the adulation, the applause, the love, the honour, and he's even slowing down to give his pit wall a little bit of a wave as he goes through. Your champion, Duco, sideways across the line, only just actually ahead of it was Cutler who finished that, but I want to say Cutler's took a penalty with him, so Britzberger finishes in second. So Cutler in third, then Diablo fourth, Sonic Racer fifth, Phil G in sixth, Rob Scott seventh. Unfortunately, that puts pay to any championship aspirations he did have. And of course, side by side with the guy who's been battling with throughout most of the season. And these two have actually treated us to some fantastic racing throughout the season, as well as Britzberg, who finishes in P2. Lucky Bucky, spectacular crash for the finish. Sean, a bit of a preemptive strike with his handbrake, but we appreciate it all the same. And then Gwyn is going to be the last classified finisher here at Barcelona, and I will then go and do you full classified results for race 2. So Duco's going to bring you 21, Rob Scott 10, Britzberger 18, Cutler, I didn't see that, and then yeah, we'll run through the points. I've already done it so that, I mean, yeah, it's going to be like a 6-point gap, I think, between everyone, but we'll have a look. We'll have a quick look then. So Diablo finished in, sorry, where did Cutler finish? Cutler finished in third, so he grabs 15 points. Diablo finished in fourth, so he grabs 13 points. Phil G, sixth for Phil G, so 11 plus the fastest lap point, which is 12. Sean finished in 10th, so he grabs 7 points. Lucky Bucky 9th, so Lucky Bucky grabs 8 points with Sonic. Good result for Sonic, P5 for him, that's 12 points for the Jaguar. Gwyn 11th, and that'll be 6 points for Gwyn with Quinn. Where is he? P8. So Quinn grabs 9. So if we just do this again, my quick maths are so let's just go Duco first, 295 points, Britzberger second, 290 points. Why does it keep doing that? Why, what the fuck? Duco first. 295. Oh yeah, I know why. 295 points. Pittsburgh second, 290 points. Rob third, 284 points. Yeah, they're already in, mate. They're already in. You've already got your extra point for fastest lap for race 2. Juco got it, I think, for race 1, I think. Can't remember who got it for race 1, but it's in there. And he's also got his pole position point as well. So yeah, that's all calculated in. I take it he's took it by a point. Sorry, yeah, by 5 points. Cheers, Lucky Bucky. Appreciate that, mate. Ever so kind, dude. Ever so kind. Really close elsewhere as well. So I'll just put in Cutler 4th, 248. Phil G 5th, 243. Diablo 6th. 241. Cool. Yeah, anyway. This'll all be the thing is, Bucky, mate, I don't think, like, I replayed it on board. I don't think you took him out. I didn't hear you normally because I've got like a beefy headset and you can hear everything. I don't think hear out, but I can see why you waited. Like I, in hindsight, think you might have just sort of did a Duco on the sausage curve and lost it, but I don't know. It's a shame though, like, because I think Sean had bloody good. I even said during race 1, Sean's going to be one to watch in that Mercedes, in that McLaren. Because it manages its tyres really well and he'll be able to do a long stint on the softs. Yeah, no, the thing is, you might watch it and, like, from your perspective, like, you might hear the contact noise and see it. From my perspective, I don't think I did, but look, it's one of them, Bucky, innit, mate, where you take it at the time. If you will have, I know what this league's like in terms of the drivers we've got in it. Gwyn, 14th overall, 104 points. Can I do a driver of the season? Can I do it? Is the one person I think that would have earned a driver of the season title? It's hard, and if I pick one, it's purely objective. My driver of the season, based on overall start to finish performance, I have no fucking idea. I don't know, because you could say Duco, but he had an absolute horror show at Red Bull Ring. Like the team didn't set the car up at all, and he's had the odd race where he's not been there, if you know what I mean. Britzberger, I would argue, has been a little bit more consistent over the season. Rob Scott has massively just improved as he goes through. Cutler, always a threat. Every single race a threat, just with his tyre management alone. Like, his race management, Cutler is phenomenal. Like, how he manages a race distance is great. Phil G, one of the fastest here, just has really bad luck. So Phil's definitely a candidate for driver of the season, because I think if he'd not had the bad luck that he'd had, he'd be in the title fight, massively in that title fight. Diablo, again, prone to mistakes, but very, very, very fast. Sean, if he'd not picked a McLaren, would have had a much better season. the fast lap champ. Yeah, definitely, mate, definitely. I mean, I always keep an eye on you during quali for that reason, because you can pretty much always be relied on to put a solid quali lap in. Then you've got the two Jags. You've got Sonic and Gwyn. They've had good seasons. They will probably walk away from it a little bit disappointed in the fact that they've not got the overall results to prove it. But the Jags just not been. It's had good races, but overall it's struggled. That car, they've struggled to get the car set up sufficiently for each. Whereas the Mercedes and stuff, you can. It's a lot more tweakable. It reacts better to set up. It's tough, and I don't really want to pick a driver of the season. I would probably by default sort of look at D4 and say he's come into sim racing pretty much fresh, wet behind the ears, newbie, and he's come into a very, very, very competitive league, and he's took the overall win. Granted, he's not had the most consistent season out there, but as an overall, if I'm looking at an entire season, I would probably say D4 takes my driver of the season crown. But that is not to take anything away from everyone else in the league. Everyone's played their part in this. It's been an excellent season to commentate over. It's been pretty fun at times, to be fair. There's been some really fun races that the lads have treated me to. It's been quite fun to talk over their racing from time to time. And again, this is the sort of league that is a bit more of a commentator's dream. There's a lot more to sink your teeth into and analyse as the race goes on and all that sort of stuff. In terms of, I'll just say thank you for these guys. 1 minute. Let's play again sometime. I'm a beginner. I always throw an I'm a beginner in there. Yeah, as for what I do going forward, no idea. Who knows? Decide that when the time comes. I have committed to taking a break. Whether that break is the mid-season break and I come back next season, don't know. Whether I take next season out fully, don't know. I'm going to decide it when I get there. One thing I am definitely not doing though is taking on as much as I have taken on these last couple of seasons. I think I needed to sort of step away from everything in order to reassess what I need to, like, reprofile it and go again, basically, is what I'm probably thinking of doing. I do of course have my gaming PC arriving any day now. I'll get myself a capture card for that, and then the streams will have like overlays and I'll be able to like bring stuff on screen for you, and it'll be a lot better. Like if I do come back, I think the production value will just skyrocket because I'll just be able to get a little bit more on. I'll be speaking to D4 and getting some pro tips from D4. But yeah, anyway, we'll see. Keep an eye out on the pages for announcements, of course, what's going to happen. The first people that know will be the hosts of the league. They will know well in advance of anybody else. They have treated me fantastically throughout the entirety of it. Special credit to Nev and Cutler, who run the league. There's a ton of effort that goes into running this. The amount of testing that they put into it as well. Absolutely massive credit to them guys for making it happen in the first place, and of course inviting me to do the commentary. And they were kind of spoiled with the people they could ask, but they asked me. And then yeah, thank you to all the racers that have taken part. Bob and Philo for a lot of behind the scenes work. Of course they're racing in the Pro League. And of course to my compadre, Mr. Dark Smoker, the guy who got me into commentating in the first place. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, it's his fault if you want to go and blame him. He commentates over the Pro League. Go and check him out. He has got a PC, so his streams are a lot more professional than mine. And go and have a look at him. But if you fancy getting involved in this for next season, get yourself over on Mature Racing Club on Facebook. There will no doubt be announcements in due course as to future seasons, other things we've got going on. So come and check that out, please. And yeah, thanks for watching this season. If you have, I will yeah, I'll see you around, and keep an eye on socials for announcements on what's coming next, if anything. You've been watching Chris, you've been watching the Mature Racing Club GT3 League. It's been a pleasure. Signing out.